On the way to the UK, the Prime Minister stopped in Singapore. The Singapore Prime Minister, when you asked him about China, had some interesting advice, didn't he, Andrew?
Well, he did, and it was interesting that Scott Morrison chose to stop there. He'd also spoken to the Vietnamese Prime Minister and Indonesian President. He wanted to test the temperature of the views of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations in order to take those views to the G7. And I guess it was a slightly different view that I saw here from the question I asked Hsien, Loong, the Prime Minister, in terms of how to handle China, to the way that we've seen from this trilateral meeting the US, the UK and Australia handle China today. So it was a virtual press conference we had to have from the airport because of their lockdown, but I thought this response was interesting, and he's suggesting, Prime Minister Lee, a different path to what the Australian government's taking at the moment. Prime Minister, you've spoken before about your concerns about the US and China hardening their positions against each other. In Australia, we can't even get a minister-to-minister dialogue with China anymore. As the Australian Prime Minister heads to the G7+, what is your advice to Australia and the G7 on how to handle relationships with China?
I think that's a very big question to deal with in a 3-minute answer in a video interview like this. But I would say that the relationship with China is one of the biggest foreign policy questions for every major power in the world. You need to work with the country. It is going to be there. It's going to be a substantial presence, and you can cooperate with it, you can engage it, you can negotiate with it, but it has to be a long and mutually constructive process. And you don't have to make it, you don't have to become like them, neither can you hope to make them become like you. And you have to be able to work on that basis, that this is a big world in which there are different countries, and we work with others who are not completely like-minded, but with whom you have many issues where your interests do align and where your mutual cooperation is necessary. There will be rough spots, and not few, and you have to deal with them, but deal with them as issues in a partnership which you want to keep going, and not issues which add up to an adversary which you are trying to suppress. That's speaking in very general terms, but I think that's, from Singapore's point of view, how you have the best chance of developing a constructive relationship and avoiding very bad outcomes.
The Singapore leader there speaking in general terms, he says, but fascinating insight into how one of China's closest neighbours sees that issue. Andrew, you've had a big day. I'll let you go and enjoy a pint of ale. I'm sure you'll be able to find one nearby. Thank you, Andrew.
There's a pub right here, and they got half an hour till closing, so I'll see you soon.
See you soon.